Hello guys, welcome back to the O&D Life, where we get orange and dirty. Today, I've got another story scenario, case study for us to do an after-action report. After my interview with Brad and his rollover, I had received a email with a gentleman's story, how he rolled his tractor, had a mishap, and just thought maybe some other people might be able to learn from it. So we are going to pull that up, and I'm going to read to you his story. There's a couple of pictures to help illustrate what happened. Okay. Okay, so here is, and I'm going to pull it up full screen here for you. Okay, so this is what he sent me. Newbie tractor owner, my BX23S. There you can see a picture of it over on its side. This is the only picture that he sent me. Looks like he does have a mid-mount mower on, I do believe. Okay. Let me just read through it here. This is what happens if you are not familiar with your equipment. I am 77 years old, and this is the first tractor I ever sat on. I read the manual, watched hundreds of hours of videos on YouTube. When this happened, the tractor only had about 3 hours on it. I did a lot of research before I ever purchased this tractor. First, I added wheel spacers to the rear to make it 4 inches wider, still only 48 inches wide. This is not very wide for a tractor with a loader and backhoe. Also added a backhoe thumb and added liquid to the rear tires. The reason this happened was poor design of the seat and operator not being aware of the problem and not being familiar with tractor. In parentheses, poor safety procedure. The way this happened, I had been using the backhoe to remove several small tree stumps. This was the last one. Most of my property is very steep. This area was not very steep. This area in particular was not very steep. I backed up to the stump, planted my bucket firmly on the ground, set RPMs to 3,000, got off the tractor, and attempted to turn the seat around. The seat had been slightly reclined. The seat got lodged between the two backhoe controls. The backhoe was extended all the way out and all the way down. By the time I realized something was wrong, the tractor was on its side. So let me just stop right there for a second. So he went to turn his seat around. So this is a BX23S, which is similar, the model after my 25D. He lifted the seat up to get ready to turn it around, and because the seat was reclined slightly, it hit the control levers of the backhoe. From what it sounds like, it pushed them both forward, which extended the boom and the dipper stick. So here's a picture that he sent. Let's see that. You can see the seat is up and starts, it goes up and backwards, and then you can flip it around. With it reclined a little, it can hit those controls. I was lucky. Okay, so I'm going to start reading again. I was lucky. I was on the uphill side. The only damage, tractor, not a scratch. For me, it destroyed my ego and put a dent into my wallet of $429 to get my tractor upright again. So let's stop right there. I'm going to take a minute and read what he wrote in his email here. He wrote, he said, I can share it. He says, I would have liked to waited a couple of days before starting the motor, but due to the fact the backhoe was extended all the way out and down, I was unable to get it on its wheels without getting the backhoe back in the storage position. While a track hoe held it up in the air, I bumped the starter several times to turn the motor over several times, very slow, before I started the motor. I don't think it had any oil on top of the pistons as it started up just fine, no smoke or anything. I was very lucky. Now I am overly safety conscious. And he put, I love my BX23S. And I'm going to write myself a note here to come back to mention, because I just thought of something. Okay, so things that he learned, things that I could have done to prevent this. One, I should have waited until I was in the seat and ready to use the backhoe before raising the RPMs. Two, I should have the rear stabilizers down. Three, seat should not be in the reclined position. Also, let's see here. There is a small lever that will disable the backhoe controls. And he's got a picture here that you can see. I have to check my backhoe. I don't remember if I have something like that on the 25D. So this is a 23S. Also, there are two safety pins that lock the backhoe. So, and here's the pin that you can put in. Actually, that's the storage spot. It looks like he has it in this picture. He has it in right now. So there's one to keep it from rotating from side to side and one to keep it from dropping, having that boom drop. So that would have helped as well, as he mentioned. But like he said in his story, he was moving from one stump to the next. And so you wouldn't expect to put those in necessarily or do the backhoe lever lockout. So, like, you know, it's those are items that he could have done, but I'm not going to fault him for that. So let's hear, what do we want to talk about? First off, I have had a somewhat similar situation. Let me pull up his picture here where the seat hit the controls there. So I have had points or times when I've gone to turn my seat around and it has hit the loader joystick. So the joystick on the 25D, so those older models are different in a different spot than the 80 series or the 23S. And so that, I don't know if that would be a problem or not. It doesn't look like it would be, potentially. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know in the comments there whether or not you have to be careful turning your seat around and hitting your loader control. Now, of course, the other issue is, as he points out, hitting it with the back of the seat when he lifts the lever and that seat goes up and back a little bit. So I can't remember if I've done that or not. I will say, climbing onto the tractor or getting off, there is the potential to hit a lever to your clothes to get caught on something potentially. I'm a bigger guy, so you know I take up a little more room. I could see if you were losing your balance, you might bump into one or you know, have to reach and grab for for something and you hit it by accident. So I could see how that could happen. Like I said, I've done that. I have gotten into the habit of keeping my RPMs low when I go to get onto the backhoe for that reason. And I want to say I probably did bump it when it was higher and recognize the potential for it to get pushed down or pulled over as I'm stepping off. Say I'm stepping off and my shirt catches it and pulls it over to in my direction. It could whack me or maybe pinch my leg or something. So that another testament to why you would want to keep your RPMs down, getting on and off it, turning it off. At a minimum, turn those RPMs down so it moves extremely slow. I can reach my RPM lever from the backhoe seated position, so that's not a problem. Another thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so he talked about how he had to get the, and let me scroll up here just for a second. I want to look at the picture. So in this picture, he talks about, when those levers got pushed forward, it lowered the boom and extended the dipper. And it looks like, I can't see that in this picture at this angle, but can you imagine if both were at their fully extended position, or whatever their end travel point would be? Because I want to say the dipper would actually be pulled in, so retracted all the way, and then the boom, if I'm using the right terminology, is extended. So if they were both at the end position, that backhoe would be, basically pointing down like that, fully extended. So I'm not sure if this is a different picture or just the angle that it's at. It's not quite showing it. Maybe it did not go fully extended, just enough to, and that could be the case. You figure if it just got enough, extended enough to upset it, so then it's balancing on the bucket and the backhoe bucket, and it's on a hillside, slight hillside, it's going to go ahead and go over, and then the seat probably came off those controls, and so it wasn't fully extended. But for a thought experiment, tell me in the comments how you guys would have. So let's say it's fully at the end position, pointing all the way down, extended on its side. You've got to get it on its wheels. What would you guys do? As he mentioned, he bumped the starter, and then had to start it up so that he could get the backhoe into the right position. So I wonder if he did it, and he said it was up in the air, so it must have been upright at least. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. So I'm thinking one thing that a person could do is maybe with a bungee, the boom, bungee that joystick in the retracted position, so that way it would come back as you lower it. I don't think I would have wanted to start it. I wouldn't have wanted to, just based on what I know, the limited amount that I know. It's my understanding that if there was a good amount of fluid on top of those pistons, even bumping the starter could cause them to get bent, or it could cause some damage. So you guys let us know in the comments so that some of us other less mechanically inclined individuals can learn from you. So I'm leaning towards maybe using a bungee, keep that joystick, pull it back, so that way, as it lowers, it can push. Are you able to? Let's get let's get the view so you can see me a little bit better. We'll use my pen as the backhoe. So you can't lower it down onto the wheels, come down, but you could maybe do something like that. If it has that joystick pulled back, that would allow it to extend as you set it down. Potentially. That's what I'm thinking. You guys discuss it in the comments there. Let's see what other ideas we have. And like I said, people, I'm sure this has happened to some other folks, and it will happen to some other folks, but maybe this will be in the back of their mind when, if it ever happens to them. So, all right. So let's see here. I did talk about the oil on top of the pistons and bumping the starter. You guys also put something in the comments about concerns about that. He did not mention how long it was over on its side. It is over on its right side. And when I rolled mine on my right side as well. And my dealer, when I talked to him, I asked him, about it. And he asked me how long and which side. And he said it probably would be okay because it was on the right side and for a short duration. So I don't know if there's something different based on which side it rolls over. So that's something else that would be kind of cool to get some information in the comments if you guys could to mention that. Why there might be a difference if you roll it to the right side or onto its left side. Okay, man, my chair's getting squeaky. All right, so that's it. That's it. I don't think I've got anything else to mention here. I appreciate the gentleman sharing his story. I have not seen this as an issue. I've heard of a guy on a Mini X that did something similar. And I think I know you're out there, Jim. I think we might have to get you onto the channel for an interview. But you guys put in the comments if you know who I'm talking about, which Jim. But if anyone else has a mishap that they would like to share, and I would love to do an interview with you, just to help other people be aware of the situation that resulted in the rollover or the accident, as well as, we can do a little bit of a after action report and discuss what would have prevented it. What contributed, what we could have done to prevent it. I think just good for a lot of these new tractor owners. As the guys that I talk to for the interviews, they're busy as ever. So that means people are out there on their machines, ordering mods and all that good stuff. So I think there's a lot of newbies out there. So I'd appreciate it. The other thing is, please give the video a thumbs up. Comment below. I've already mentioned that. But those two items right there help show engagement, shows people whether or not, YouTube should maybe suggest it to some other people that are looking at tractor videos maybe. And you know what? I think it'd be good to get the word out and, give them something to think about, basically, because otherwise you wouldn't have thought about it. This is the first rollover with the backhoe that I've seen on the forums. Granted, I've been off the forums for about a year, where I'm not into reading every post as much as like I used to. But this is the first one, so I thought it'd be really good to share and put onto some newbies' radar as to something that could happen. Keep those RPMs low. Make sure there's, control that seat when you release it. Make sure it doesn't go flying backwards and hitting your controllers. When you turn it, make sure it's not hitting your loader joystick. When you're climbing on and off of the tractor, make sure that you're not bumping one of those joysticks. And so that's why you want to keep the RPMs low. You could put those pins in as well. Might be a nice little extra piece of a safety measure. And really, they don't take that long to put in or take out. So you guys, if you're new to the channel, go check out my my home YouTube page. I've got some playlists there that I think you might enjoy checking out. I've got it set up to tractor mods, tractor implements. Don't do what I did, you know, so there's a couple videos of my mishaps, and then I'm going to put these mishap interviews or videos, discussions, after action reports in that section as well. So you can go check out those other videos. And then, you know, I think there's some other playlists, random. I've got a Orange and Dirty playlist. And really, those are videos using the different implements and mods set to music. So not a whole lot of talking, just straight tractor action working, basically. So I think you guys might enjoy it. Check it out. Subscribe if you like what you see. Hit the little bell button, and that'll get you notified of new videos. Thanks a lot, you guys. O&D out.